All right, you're gonna see a messy overlay here for a sec. So I was pressing buttons and the intro ended a little bit sooner than I anticipated. Whoa! Nope, don't want to see that. There we go. We are finally ready to go on Star Station. Man, I know some people love the music, some people hate the music, but it gets me hyped, it gets me pumped, and I hope you guys are ready, hyped, and pumped for this, because we're game number 3. Currently tied up 1-1 between these two fantastic players, duking it out to see who gets to go to IEM Sao Paulo, Brazil, to represent North America. I finally said that right after 2 days of trying. I'm Rifkin, joined tonight by Zombie Grub. You're watching on Base Trade TV. I hope you're having a good time, and of course, if you have any feedback for either of us as casters or hell for the channel itself, don't be shy. Send us a message on Twitch. That being said, if it's your first time here, hit that follow button, and we'll get into the game. Spawning in the lower right corner of the map, playing for CM Storm, the man, the myth, the legend, CM Storm's Pulse.
And in the upper left, as the blue Protoss, it's EG's Huck.
Oh, I didn't do a hand. There we go. Sit camera swivels at a PC. And of course, his Twitter at Lorange Chris. Okay, so getting into this one, it's kind of interesting. I think Huck in game 1 was really testing the waters by going for that standard build, you know, charge lot, storm, and all these wonderful things you expect out of a Protoss player in a macro game. Game 2, even though the blink didn't work, I really like the aggression that put on, because from like that last map we just cast, there was pressure for so much of that game, and Polt, he struggled for room to breathe. I think, I'm not encouraging Huck to say like do like a one base all in, but I think pressure is probably going to be his best way if he really wants to win this series. Again, this is the losers bracket, so only one of these two can go on, and it kind of sucks because they're both players I'd love to see represent over in IEM.
Yeah, it's not that the Blink Stalker build didn't work. It did what it was supposed to, and it's kind of like fake out Polt, right? If Polt was a little more aggressive, he probably would have, easily scared Huck's army away, but it gave him what he needed, which was a lot of time. It took away Polt's really strong mid game with those the two-pronged attacks with the medevacs. It took that away for a very long time, so it was a good read and a good build by Huck, especially on that map too. As it is so hard to get a third base, you're going to inevitably get it later, but at least it'll be secure.
I'm wondering too, like, actually, I'll hold that thought for now. We do not see a Reaper coming out of Polt this time, so the SCV Scout is actually going to be quite fantastic. I'm going to let you guys know I'm swapping the overlay around to, sorry about that. It's just bugged out for a second, had to fix it. It's still the same position, I just didn't want people to be like, wait, what's he doing with the buttons? Of course, if you're just tuning in or something, it's a best of 5. You can always read it down here. The score is displayed at all times as well. 1-1 at the moment. But here comes the Reaper. So it wasn't the quickest. I was kind of. So the reason I brought up the non-continuation to Reapers, guys, is because, again, we saw it earlier today. It was kind of a joke. Didn't know, maybe you'd invest in a little more Reapers because it's Polt and it's on Star Station. This is a map where we see him do silly, crazy things when it comes to Reapers. But gonna use the one for now. Doesn't get the scout with it. Has to come home immediately. I think he knows about the follow-up too. I mean, it's pretty typical. I mean, quite frankly.
Yeah. Again, this shouldn't do a whole lot unless Huck decides to try and run in. But again, Marines will be on top not only for the potential Stalker run by, but in case the Militia Corps tries to do anything sneaky by getting in there.
All right. Well, Huck. I don't know. You can't really do too much of this with the bunker being down. If this was like a series where maybe Polt got caught off guard and the bunker wasn't ready, like that's how you end the game real quick right there. But Polt is ready for everything. He's not playing greedy, and that's what I like most about this.
Huck's also not doing anything abnormal this time. I mean, last time wasn't like too weird. It wasn't like really weird. It was just different. Like the norm is definitely Robo and a Forge and a PVT, and that's what he's looking to go up to.
Yeah, actually, something too worth noting. I didn't actually consider this till just now. Huck. I'm already doing it. Huck managed to actually do some pretty nice harass last game with those Zealot Warpins, but like that was without armor upgrades, something you normally have like intertwined when you go for Zealots. But the much faster Immortals this time, it's not got the extra gateways yet. But when you go for fast Immortals like this, you're really going for one of, well, 3 things. Either you're super paranoid and you're gonna play ridiculously weirdly defensive, or you're going for a bunker bust, or you adapt the one person who I've been misspeaking all about today, Puck. He does this awesome thing where he does Warp Prism around the Immortals and does a ton of harass dropping with them. But that's a much rarer of the 3. So I think if we see probably like 3 or 4 sentries and a couple more gateways come down, Huck might just try and bust that bunker and all in.
Yeah.
not out of the question, but off of one gateway, certainly not going to happen. I'm just trying to figure out why he would go for Immortals this quickly if that wasn't going to be his goal.
Well, there is something cool that was going on for a little while, like 3 GMAX ago. I know people are kind of weird that I take time by dream hacks, but that seems to be like where the definitive like metagame you can find out easily. But anyways, it was like you would do this type of push with a bunch of immortals. Oh my god, it was scanned by the way, so that's already really telling. But you get like 2 to 3 immortals, but you wouldn't get a whole lot of gateways, and you could push and you could still end the game if they underprepared. But it wasn't necessarily an all-in. You could recall that with a mothership core, and it's off of like 4 gateways or something. And that could also be possible. But unfortunately, it was scanned. Now it's still effective sometimes, even if you know it's coming. I mean, mortals just bust down bunkers so surprisingly fast. Sometimes you're taken aback by it. But that is a little. It kind of sucks for Huck right there.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got the gateways coming down. It's not like he's going to cancel. You need gateways anyways. That's your production source. But I like the extra bunker coming down to pull, especially not salvaging them either. Usually when you move out like this, you salvage them because you feel you're screwed. I'm not going to need it. But going to try and force
What
him
is this
force fields.
push out?
I think he's just
I
trying to
don't
bait.
understand.
I think he's trying to bait in the middle of the map, but that's not going to work at all. Going to throw those immortals, or sorry, the marauders away for free into the immortals. However, the Marines actually do have the potential with Stim to kill the immortals. So this weird push might work out in the end for Bolts.
Well, thank God Stim actually finished. I think that's what happened was that it was barely seconds away from finishing. So the Marauders that actually might have done a bit more, but it ended up working out. And Pulse, he knows best. But Huck, are you still going to go through with it? Looks like it. He does have 5 gateways behind this? Yes, 5 gateways. With Twilight Council on a Forge going on behind this, so it's not going to be all in. Should only do enough warp-ins to, make Pult afraid and then back off.
Yeah, even if he is still going to go for the bunker, one of the big things too is losing that one immortal. Hell, giving a Marines away for it, that's fine. That's suddenly this bunker taking significantly less damage. That's basically 3 immortals, 150 a shot. That bunker goes down so quick. Now it's only 100 damage per round. Well, plus you got to factor in armor and stuff still. Regardless, this immortal is going to be, Huck not going to actually go full through with this.
Yeah, I really like this by Huck, honestly, especially since Pult has shown that he likes to go Marauder heavy in the early stage. Immortals are obviously going to be very effective against that, as opposed to most Terrans who are just simply most, if not all, Marines.
Oh man, I think there's been this one guy in chat, by the way, who's been awesome. I guess he's translating our cast to Korean. I mean, maybe he's terrible because he's saying bad things about us. I don't know, but I saw him just type Huck, Puck, so I think he's telling them that I keep saying that wrong name. That bums me out. Alright, well, third base being established by Pult at the moment. Of course, I do wish I could reach out a little more, guys, but random glances are all I can afford. This is a pretty high-stakes game. There's a lot on the line, and we can't afford to miss any of the action. It does clean up the pylons, though. It makes him feel a little more secure. Of course, he's got Watchtower control, too. It's the nice thing about Star Station. It's got 4 Watchtowers, but Warp Prism can skirt past it is the problem. As you see, the Watchtower comes about here. And the Warp Prism, if it hugs the side of the map, will go undetected. But, oh no, that lazy rally point might give it away.
Dude, when you clicked over there, over the space, that gave me, serious, C6 or something. God.
Okay.
The Warp Prism over the space, looked weird.
I apologize. That's okay.
I've just seen it before. Usually, of course, you see the map and not the outer space behind it.
Well, here comes the Warp Prism. I don't know if Pult actually saw it. It might have been distracted in the middle of the map for that brief second or two, but now warping in directly on top of the racks. He sees this now, stimming back to try and deal with it. Huck's actually not warping anything in, though.
The fight also went off. A bunch of force fields did go down, but most of the army was picked up in the medevacs, so not too much done there. And the Warp Prism will go down. I was just thinking, yeah, it does suck that since they haven't been too effective, honestly. Oh, this actually Harass is going to be effective. Maybe hallucinating Warp Prism would do the same thing, and of course be a lot more free.
I know we recently learned that Immortals hallucinated have the Heart and Shield effect. Can hallucinated Warp Prism transform? I wonder, because that would be pretty cool. It always looks like this.
I think they can. Oh. Just careful for Huck. There's no militia for a recall in case things go bad, and things are going bad. Oh, I don't know about this.
Pulling the SUVs is actually really nice. This is, of course, going to eat a lot of the damage chews through those Zealots like it's nothing, and now it's just an Immortal against a huge Biostim force. Zealots from behind, though, coming for a bit of a swipe, a surprise attack, if you will. I think the Zealots will actually make it so that Pult can't go for the full-on counterattack, but he wins this fight decisively.
Yeah. Huck overstepping his boundaries right there. I felt like he was doing pretty well up until that point, but then that was pretty much his entire army, guys, while Pult still retained most of his own.
It's looking pretty good for Polt this game. A lot different than our previous series, of course. But now Hawk taking his own third base, getting his tech up, his armor upgrades on the way. Level 2 coming out in a moment's time, and of course the Templar Archive. So finally we'll have some AoE engaged into this. To explain why SCV pulls are good, because sometimes you just see them and it's like, LOL, desperation move. Good luck! SCV pulls are great when there's no area of effect on the field. They have enough health that they soak enough hits from Zealots, from Immortals, from Stalkers that the bio goes untouched long enough to do a ton of damage. So I really like that SCV pull. There's very few situations where you're like, that was a really effective SCV pull, but what is this Immortal doing? What?
That was odd.
I guess left from the fight or rallied wrong, whatever. That's an expensive. Hawk setting up some sneaky pylons down here to the south. I thought he was taking a third, but looks like he's just gonna go for full-on warp in. So down in army supplies still. I don't know. This is a fight in the north you can take, but as soon as the reinforcements come in, there's nothing behind this. Again, there's still no Colossus. There's a couple Archons coming in, but there's no storms. There's no area of effect to really level out the playing field.
Yeah, well, this nice surround by Storm or by Pulse is going to be really nice. The Archons catch the majority of the second half and do really, really nice damage to him. And he's going to be able to push this back, but Pulse is still up by about 70 supply.
Hawk is taking some pretty annoying losses to this too. I mean, his resources lost at this point. It's just in the gutter, and without Stalkers or Storm or something, he's just going to stim Pult that is over and over and try and kite this army down. The Marauders are good, but they're slow.
Yeah. Pult is kind of like, he's probably really annoying for Protoss players because he always uses the small chunk of his army, or not small, but like half of his army to do a lot of damage, and then you think you're doing great against him, and then suddenly there's a whole nother chunk back at home. Something you see a lot in TVT because drops are so prevalent, but Poultice is in all matchups. Leaves a chunk at home, makes you feel good about yourself, and then brings it forward, and you're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, and I think I said Marauder a moment ago. I just want to correct that and say I meant Immortals. That's a big deal. Zealot run by heading towards the third base once again. This should get some damage in for sure. There's nothing at home currently to defend, and the production for Pult is a little bit on hold as he's approaching max. Oh, actually, I guess he saw this or had a good idea this was coming. Zealot's going to be intercepted. Meanwhile, fighting the other half of the map. This is a really risky engagement here. Storms need to come down, but they're not done yet, so Hawk taking the engagement a little preemptively does instead throw feedbacks on the medevacs, and the Archons are doing what they can to chew through this, but good game will be called, and Pult will bully his way through.
Oh, bully.